Hi everyone. Today I am going to explain about the F19 NMR spectroscopy. Right? F19 NMR spectroscopy. So means what? F19 means F19 fluorine is having how many number of protons and neutrons? Actually, its atomic number is 9 and its mass number is 19, right? Okay. So means what? Here 9 protons plus 10 neutrons are present, right? 9 protons and 10 neutrons are present. So means what? Actually here it is having these 10 neutrons are get paired up, right? Because here it is even number, right? But it is with odd number, right? Okay. So odd number means what? If it fills proton spin like this, so what will be happen here? So one unpaired spin is there, right? One unpaired proton is there, but this is about the 9 protons. What about the neutrons? So all the neutrons gets paired up, right? Gets paired up. So there is no spinning particle in neutrons, but what about here? There is one spinning particle of proton, right? So this is responsible for the activity, okay, NMR activity, because it is having it spins, right? So that's why it is having one unpaired spin. So that's why. So it is responsible for the activity. If it kept at external magnetic field, what happens? Actually, we have to keep the F19, right? This is F19 nuclei. When you kept in external magnetic field, right, what happens? It splits into two levels, right? So one is parallel to the applied magnetic field, which is called as N alpha state, right? This is lower energy state, right? And what about this? So it is opposite to the applied magnetic field, right? Opposite to the applied magnetic field, and it is said to be, what is this? Mu spin is plus half here, and what about here? Mu spin is minus half, right? So what is the energy? So when it takes energy, what happens? It splits it flipped, right? Flipped and get excited into the higher state, right? Okay. So this energy is converted into signal, NMR signal, right? Okay. Actually, at least what is the basic point for NMR? At least it should contain at least one unpaired spin, one spinning nuclei. It may be either proton or neutron or both, right? If both are present, okay, no problem. So both are responsible for the magnetically active particles, right? Okay. So but here, okay, what about here? Here F19 means what? Here 9 protons are there, 10 neutrons are there. So 10 neutrons gets paired up. Okay, leave it. So what about here? There is a one spinning particle in the case of proton, means in the nuclei, right? So in its nuclei it is having 9 protons plus 10 neutrons. But what about one spinning nuclei is there, right? Because it is present in nuclei, so that's why we have to call it as nuclei, right? One spinning nuclei is present in the, what is that? It has to, in unpaired state only it will be active, otherwise it will not give any NMR signal. If you take the C12, what about here? 6 protons plus 6 neutrons. So all the protons, all the neutrons are gets paired up. So thereby what will be happen? This is, it will not give. So I becomes 0 here, right? But here what is the I value? Angular spin quantum number of fluorine is plus half. What about this? Angular spin quantum number of fluorine is plus half. But what about C12? It is 0 because there is no unpaired spins, right? Okay, if you take a C13, what is the I value is not equal to 0, means I is equal to plus half, because there is a one unpaired spin, right? Here 6 protons plus 7 neutrons, means here 6 neutrons gets paired up. Next, there is a one unpaired spin, right? So this is responsible for the activity, right? Like that here also. Here it is what is that? Proton is there, right? So all the neutron gets paired up. Okay. So there is at least one spinning particle, right? At least one spinning particle, that it should be in unpaired state, right? Okay. So then only it will give some value, right? It may be fraction or integer or non-integer, right? Okay. So what is the I value for F19? F19 I value means angular spin quantum number of fluorine is about plus half, right? So actually fluorine has a spinning particle. So if you kept this F19 nuclei at external magnetic field, it splits into two levels. One is lower energy level. This is N alpha state and this is N beta state, which is a higher energy state, right? Okay. So what is the spin? The spin is having at N alpha state. It is a what is parallel or aligned to that applied magnetic field. But what about this higher this in beta state spin? It is opposite to the external magnetic field, right? Okay. So when you irradiate this into the radiation, what will be happen? This spin will go and flipping takes place. Thereby it acquires the what is that negative charge, right? Okay. So this is about this basic point, right? So what is that? F19 is an NMR active particle because it contains spinning nuclei at its nuclear energy level, right? At its nuclei there is a one spinning particle, so that it should be responsible for the activity. So that's why F19 is said to be, what is that? F19 is a NMR active particle. NMR active particle, right? Okay. And what is the F19 is 100% abundant element. 100% abundant element. Okay. So what about this? 100% abundant element is the F19 is a 100% abundant element. And what is the mu value? See here, mu value is 2.63 and the sensitivity is 0.834. Okay. Resonance frequency at 2.35 Tesla is equal to 94 megahertz. So if you apply this field, what about 2.35? It absorbs 94. We have to give the what is the energy? 94 megahertz, right? Okay. So means if you increase the magnetic field, so energy absorption is also will be more, right? Okay. So we have to use here 2.35 Tesla for the magnetic field. What is the, so then how much is the energy? It is about the 94 megahertz. 94 megahertz, right? Okay. So it will give the what is the chemical shift values about. Okay, I'll write. Actually, what about this? Actually, here between alpha and energy levels 1.2 into 10 power. This is the difference between these two energy levels, right? So here, what is the chemical shift range is about minus 200 to plus 300 delta ppm, right? For proton NMR, it is about 0 to delta 20 delta ppm, whereas C13 0 to 220 delta ppm, right? Okay. So next, what is the standard we are using in this F19 NMR spectroscopy is there are two standards we are using. So the CFCl3 and CF3COOH, right? Okay. So chemical shift values are proposed by Curie and Cliffordich. Okay, right? Next, So what is the reference compound for the F19? Here we are using two types of reference compounds, right? They are CFCl3 and trifluoroacetic acid. Okay. Actually, for here for proto-NMR and C13NMR, what we have used. So in proto-NMR, TM etc. methylcinate is used as a standard reference. And we have to take it as a 0, right? So for this also we have to take it as a 0, and we have to notice that there are negative values, right? Delta chemical shift values minus 200, but here we have to take it is a 0, right? Okay, so means here this is a 0, this is for CFCl3. If you get the negative values, means it shifts to the upper field, right? These are the negative delta ppm values. These are the positive delta ppm values, right? Okay, so this is the standard reference. We have to give the value for this 0, right? Okay, so this is a 0. And what about the upper field? Means upper field. So upper field will give the negative values and the downfield will give the positive values. So what is the this one reference? So reference is having 0 delta ppm values. Okay, these are some values of delta chemical shift values. Actually CFCl3 is having 0 value, right? CF2Cl2 is having minus 8 delta ppm, and this fluoromethane, phenyl methane is having minus 64. Like this, we'll get the negative values, right? Okay, so it is having both negative and positive values, right? Okay, so what is the next coupling constants? There is a coupling constants are there. What is the coupling constant? Coupling constant is a distance between two multiplet is called as distance between two multiplets is the coupling constant, right? And it is denoted by J. What is coupling constant? Coupling constant is the distance between two multiplets. If you take a doublet, so what is the distance here? We have to this is a coupling constant, is J, denoted by J, right? So what is the distance between two multiplets? We have to measure. That is the coupling constant, right? Okay, so coupling constant, the values are there. So first one, vicinal homonuclear coupling constant. Vicinal homonuclear coupling constants. Okay, what is that? Vicinal homonuclear coupling constants. Means homonuclear means what? Between same, right? Coupling constants between the same nuclei, where it is called as homonuclear. Means between F to F, right? If it is F to F, what about here? C here, C F is there. This is the vicinal coupling constant, right? Okay, see here, this is 1, 2, this is 1, 2, 3, right? Okay, so what is the bond separation here? J3, right? 1, 2, 3. 3 bonds are separated by to this, right? F to F, how many bonds are there? Between 3 bonds are there. That's why we have to give the J3 coupling constants. And which type of coupling constants are there? Homonuclear coupling constants are present between this one. So because here a fluorine is there. So same between same nuclei is called as homonuclear coupling constants, right? Okay, so what is the value here? J3F to F is equal to 0 to 39 Hz. 0 to 39 Hz, right? Next, J3 F to F cis. J3 F to F cis 0 to 258 Hz, and J3 F to F trans. It is having by 0.62. What about this? 148 Hz, right? So this is this one, right? Okay. Next, what about heteronuclear coupling constant? This is about homonuclear coupling constants, right? What is the heteronuclear coupling constants, right? So vicinal heteronuclear coupling constants. Means here 1, 2, 3. So what about here? Between two carbons, right? C to C. Here H is there, F is there. F is different from H, right? H is another nuclei. F is another nuclei. So this is called as, what is that? Heteronuclear coupling constant. Heteronuclear coupling constant, right? Okay. Next, what about this value? H1 to F19. We have to mention here, right? For this one. So if you cannot mention here because these are having the same nuclei. Otherwise, you can mention 1990, right? But here we should maintain. We have to mention here what is that, proton to F19, because this is the heteronuclear coupling constant. So that's why we have to mention here, right? So what about this 11 to 59 hertz? What about this vicinal heteronuclear coupling constant is 11 to 59 hertz. Okay. So this is a trans one. Trans. What is the trans? Here these two are trans to each other, right? Opposite to each other. So what is the value? 11 to 59 hertz. Okay. If it is cis means C double bond C, H, F is there. So what is there? J3, H1, F19. What about the value? 5 to 20 hertz. Here is more for this one, right? Okay. So trans values are having more values. Okay. There also it's reversible, right? Okay. So this is about this one. Okay. What about the geminal coupling? Geminal means what? If two nuclei present at the same carbon atom, it is called as what it is? Geminal coupling, right? Geminal coupling. Like this, right? Okay. F, J2, 1 and 2, right? What is the separation? 1 and 2. So that's why we have to give the notation J2, right? Okay. So J2 F to F, it will give 40 to 370 hertz. Okay, value. Next, what about the heteronuclear? H, F, right? J2, H1, F19. It is about, what is that? 45 to 65 hertz. 45 to 65 hertz, right? Okay. Next, this is geminal only, but it is having double bond, right? So J2 is there, 1 and 2. So H1, F19. So this is about 70 to 90 hertz. Okay. Next, long range coupling means more than 3 is there, then it is called as a long range coupling. Okay. Long range coupling constants. So here to here, what it is? Ardo. This is meta, and this is para. Right? Here 1, 2, 3. Next here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here 6, 7. Right?
For this one, J ortho means what? J ortho means J3, right? Ortho mean what? Here H1 F19 is there. This is ortho. This is about 118 hertz, right? What about here? See here, 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? 4 means J3, sorry, 4, H1, F19, what it is? Meta, right? Meta. This is about 3.8 Hz, right? Next, what about here? 1, 2, 3, this is 4, this is 5, means J5, H1, F19, what is this? Para position, right? Para position, it is having, what about this? 2.7 Hz, it's mostly. So these are because of long range coupling, generally coupling constant values are decreases, right? Coupling constant values are decreases. Okay, so let's see some of the applications of F19 NMR spectroscope. Right? Okay. So what is this? 1,2 dichloro. Right? Dichloro. 2,2 difluoro. So these are the applications. Actually, we have to take this example, right? Okay, what is this? 1,1 dichloro, 1,1, 1,2 dichloro, 1,1 difluoroethanes, right? Here. See here, 2 fluorine atoms are attached to 1 carbon atom and 2 hydrogens are attached to another carbon atom, right? Okay. So here heteronuclear coupling will be takes place. So thereby, so how many? What is the splitting is there according to 2Na plus 1 rule? 2 into how many is there? 2 into half plus 1, right? Means it will give the triplet. Okay. Okay. Otherwise we can use this formula also, right? So how many number of fluorines are there? 2. For fluorine, how many number of protons are there? 2. So right, so it will give 2 triplets. Okay, if it is coupled with proton, so what will be happen? It gives the triplet, right? Okay, it gives the triplet. If you apply the double resonance frequency, means decoupled spectrum will give the singlet, right? Okay, so we have to start the coupling between the fluorine and this proton, then it will give the singlets. If it is coupled with this proton, then only splitting will be takes place, right? Okay, if there is no coupling, means what? It will give the decoupled spectrum. Decoupling spectrum means here we have to stop the coupling here, so thereby there is no splitting, means it assumes there is no protons or any other NMR active particle at its adjacent carbon atom, so thereby it will give the singlets, right? Okay, so it assumes there are no protons, so 0 plus 1 is 1, means it gives the singlet, right? So in the case of decoupled spectrum, right? Okay, in the case of coupled spectrum, it will give the triplet because these two are coupled with these 2 protons, right? So at that time it will give the triplet, right? Okay, so this is about this application, right? If you see here bromine pentafluoride or iodine pentafluoride, so we have to determine the which type of structure it is having, right? If it is having this type of structure, means it is a trigonal bipyramidal, and what is this? This is a square pyramidal, right? Okay, if it is a trigonal bipyramidal, so here if you see here bromine F5 is there. So trigonal bipyramidal, there is a two types of fluorines are there. So axial fluorines and
equatorial fluorines, right? So these two are said to be axial fluorines, right? So these three are equatorial fluorines, right? In the case of what is that? Here TBP means trigonal bipyramidal structure. So in trigonal bipyramidal structure, it is having two types of fluorines, two axial and what about this? Equatorial, right? So how many axial fluorines are there? Two, right? Two axial fluorines here. Equatorial, three equatorial fluorines are there. So according to Na+1 rule, we have to calculate the multiplicity between axial and fluorine. So if you take what is this axial fluorine? So how many carbons are there? Equatorial. It will give the axial will give the multiplicity for the equatorial protons, right? Okay. So if you take this axial fluorines, 2 into n is nothing but equatorial. We have to give the multiplicity for the opposite one, right? So if you take this, if it is coupled with these equatorial protons, then what will be the splitting, right? So if it coupled with the equatorial protons, means how many number of protons are there? According to 2Ni+1 rule. So 2 into how many number of equatorial protons are there? 3, right? So 3 protons are there. 2 into 3 into half. Half means what? Nuclear spin quantum number of fluorine. So what is the nuclear spin quantum number of fluorine? It is nothing but half, right? Okay. So 2 into 3 into half. So 2 will be get cancelled, right? So 3 plus 1. 3 into 1, 3. 3 plus 1 is equal to 4. It will give the 4 quartet, right? Okay. If you take the equatorial protons, if these 3 protons are coupled with these 2 protons, what will be the multiplicity, right? So if you take equatorial protons, what is the here 2? How many equatorial protons are there? 2 equatorial protons are there. So for that 2 into 2 into half plus 1. What is the multiplicity for the equatorial protons? How many? So equatorial protons are coupled with axial protons, right? So how many axial protons are there? 2 protons are there, axial protons. So that's why we have to give the number 2, right? N is nothing but here 2. Equatorial protons are coupled with axial protons, right? So we have to give the axial protons. 2 into 2, half. What is the half means? This is a I is equal to half plus half for the fluorine, right? Okay, we have to write this nuclear spin quantum number, right? Okay, so what is the triplet, right? So it will give the, what is this? For axial, how many are there? 3 is there. Means here it will give the quartet, right? What is the signal will be obtained for axial? 3 is there, right? So according to 3, N+1 rule also, you will get same the value, right? You will get the same value. So that is nothing but quartet, right? Okay. So for equatorial protons, what is the splitting pattern? Equatorial protons will give the 3, means triplet, right? So it will give the one quartet and one triplet. If it will give one quartet and one triplet, means the what is the geometry of this molecule? It is the trigonal bipyramidal structure, right? Okay, because here 2 types of fluorines are there, axial fluorines and equatorial fluorines. 2 axial fluorines are there, 3 axial fluorines are there. If 3 equatorial fluorines are interacted with the axial fluorines, then it will give the quartet, right? If these 2 will interact with these 3, it will give the axial. The equatorial will give the triplet, right? So what is the spectrum? If the spectrum is with one quartet and one triplet, means what is the geometry is present? Trigonal bipyramidal, right? Okay, if you take a square pyramidal, right? It is a square and it is a pyramidal, right? Okay, square pyramidal. Here one axial proton is there and 4 equatorial proton is there, right? Actually, this is the distorted octahedral structure. Here one lone pair is present, right? Okay, so that's why it is a this chart. What is the geometry of this BR5? We don't know, right? Whether it is a square pyramidal or this trigonal bipyramidal. We have to identify. We have to determine the structure by using NMR technique, right? Okay, if it is square pyramidal, what will be the axial? Axial, how many equatorial fluorines are there? 4 fluorines are there. So 4 fluorines means what? If it
interact with these four fluorines, what will be the value? 2 into 4 into, means n is a equatorial, right? A half plus 1 is equal to 5, right? So 2 will be getting cancelled, and 4 into 1, 4 plus 1, 5, right? Means we have to like that, it will give the signal for adjacent carbon atom protons like that. So if axial proton is interacted with this equatorial fluorines, it will give the multiplicity like here, right? We have to axial, write the axial. For axial, it will give the quintet, right? While here four equatorial fluorines are there. So if it interact with four fluorines, what will be the multiplicity? 5, right? Means quintet, right? So if you take a equatorial, these equatorial fluorines will interact with one axial fluorine. So what will be the value? So for equatorial, 2 into how many axial is there? Only 1 is there. So 2 into 1 into half plus 1 is equal to 2, right? So this is so it will give one quintet and one doublet, right? Okay. So this is quintet and it will give the one doublet, right? Okay. This is for equatorial effort. This is for axial, right? Okay. So for this, if it will give the one quintet, one doublet, what is the geometry of this molecule? It exists in square pyramidal structure. So like that we have to determine the structure, geometry of the particular molecule, right? So if it gives one triplet and one quartet, what is that? It will give the it is in this geometry, right? Trigonal bilateral. If it gives one quintet and one doublet, means what? The bromine F5 or IF5 is exist in this geometry, right? Okay. So this is about some applications. So this is what it is, SF4 molecule, right? SF4 molecule can exist in 3 different geometries. So one is tetrahedral, square planar and seesaw structure, right? If it is having the tetrahedral structure, what is going to be these? All fluorine atoms are in same environment, means it will give the only one signal, right? Okay. So what about this SF4? It is also, these fluorines are in the same environment, means what? It is also will give the single signal, means one signal, right? So what about this? This is a special one, right? Seesaw structure. Actually, it gives 2 triplets, right? If you take a 2Na plus 1 rule, 2Ni plus 1 rule. So here two types of fluorines are there. There are nothing but axial fluorines and the equatorial fluorines, right? So what is the, if you take up axial, so how many number of equatorial, if these two are coupled with these two equatorial protons, so what will be the signal, right? So what is this? If it interact with this equatorial, how many equatorial fluorines are there? 2 fluorines are there. So that's why 2 into 2 half plus 1. So what will be the signal? 2 into 1, 1 plus 1, 3. Right? Triplet means it is splitted into triplet, right? So what about equatorial? Equatorial is the same, right? 2 into how many axial are there? 2 axial are there. So 2 into 2. What is the I value? I is equal to plus half, right? We have to write it. Half of it is getting cancelled. Means actually SF4 will give 2 triplets, right? 2 triplets like this. Right? Okay. So like this, what will, so if it gives 2 triplets, means what? It is in seesaw structure, right? It is in seesaw structure. It cannot exist in these 2 structures, because if it gives one signal, we can predict this structure, but it will give the 2 signals, right? 2 signals means what? Here it exists in this geometry, right? Okay. So because these 2 are axial position and these 2 are equatorial position, right? Okay. So that's why it will give the two triplets. 2 triplets means it exists in this structure only, right? Okay, SA4 will give, what is this? Two triplets. Two triplets means what? It is in this Sisa gamete. Okay, so like that you can predict the structures of the unknown compounds. Okay.
So this is a special case PF5 because P also NMR active particle, right? So that's why it couples with Fa means it will give the multiplet, right? Okay. So if you take this TBP structure, right? This is Berry pseudo rotation. Again, it is converted into TBP, right? Okay. So it will give the signals for this one. Actually, at room temperature, it will give only two singlets. At the room temperature, it will give simply two singlets, right? Means one is for axial and one is for equatorial fluorines. Okay. Okay, first actually we have to decrease the temperature at 2 degrees centigrade, minus 2 degrees centigrade, right? So at very low temperature, this is will give the 2:3 ratio of, because of Berry pseudo rotation, right? Because it will give the two different types of protons, right? Okay, at 2:3 ratio. Actually, first this fluorine couples with this one, and what will be if you take a axial one, right? So actually you have to take the axial protons first coupled with this phosphorus, right? So how many? 2 Na I plus 1, right? Here A is equal to, what is that? Phosphorus, right? So what is this? 2 into N, how many? What is the Pi value is plus half only, right? Okay. Newton's spin quantum number of what is phosphorus is about plus half, right? Okay. If you take this one, so what is that? 1 is there, so half, right? Plus 1. 2 cancel. 1 into 1 1 plus 1 means it will give doublet, right? First it right? So axial prot. So what is this? P31. If it reacts with this one. Otherwise, we have to take a equatorial, whatever it may be. So first it is fluorine, equatorial, fluorine, axial or axial. This is equatorial. So first it coupled with phosphorus and it will give the doublet. Again, what will be happen? This, if it couples with this 3 equatorial fluorines, what will be happened? This each line again converted into 4 lines, right? 4 lines. And because 3 fluorines are there, right? So that's why it will give the this. Okay, 2 quartet, right? Like that here also. Fe first coupled with P31, right? It will give the doublet. Again, if it coupled with this F axial, F19 axial P31, F19 axial P31, right? Okay. So here the P31 will interact with the Fe. P31 will interact with F equatorial. It will give 2 quartets. Here, what will be happen? 2 is there. First, it will give the triplet because how many axial are there? 2 axial protons are there, right? 2 axial protons are there. So that's why. So 2 axial means what? According to 2Ni plus 1 rule. 2Ni A plus B. We have to take up B, right? I plus 1. So 2 into N. How many number of protons are there? 2. Right? What is the number? Half plus 1. So what is the value? 3. So each line splitted into triplet. Right? For equatorial, actually first it coupled with P31. First it will give doublet. This doublet again means this doublet again interact with this axial protons, axial fluorines. So then it will, each line interacted with two axial fluorines and will give the triplet and triplet. So like this same here also, first axial proton first coupled with P31 and it will give the doublet because one phosphorus is there, right? So next when it coupled with the equatorial protons, it will give the two quartets, right? Two quartets and two triplets. So what is the
structure here? Means what is the multiplicity for this one? It will give two triplets as well as two quartets. Two quartets. Right? Means what? So it will give like this. Right? Two triplets and two quartets. Okay. Next. Actually, I have a telling, right? What is that? TBP is converted into SP, right? Means square pyramidal, and again it is converted into TBP via Berry pseudo rotation. Berry pseudo rotation. Right? Okay. Actually, you have seen in inorganic chemistry about this Berry pseudo rotation. Okay. So same thing is applied here. Okay. ClF3 is there. Okay, actually it will give, it is not a, okay, Cl, F, A, F, A, F, right? And it is having two, okay? So this is having this structure, right? First, F will give, what is this? Here two types of fluorines are there. One is axial and one is what is this? One axial is there, two axial fluorines are there, one equatorial fluorines are there. So what will be the split? So if you take Fa, if you take Fa, so how many equatorial protons are there? One equatorial protons are there. 2 NaI plus 1. Right? What is this one? Na. What is this N? How many number are there? 1 into half plus 1. So what is that one? 2. Right? What about? Means it will give the doublet. Right? Okay. So what is the equatorial? How many axial protons are there? 2 N. Okay, Na. Here I want to write Ne. Right? Okay. Plus 1. Ni plus 1. So 2 into how many number of axial protons are there? 2 protons, 2 fluorines are there, half plus 1. So what is this? Triplet. Means it is split into like this. Right? Means it will give the one doublet and one triplet. Right? Okay. So what is the this one? One doublet and one triplet. Okay. So it will give, so doublet for axial Fa, triplet for Fa. Right? So like this we have to write the signals, right? We have to predict the geometry. So this is T-shaped molecule, right? What is this? Chlorine. Trichlorochlorine, right? So this is an halogen compound, right? Okay. So like this we have to determine the structure, right? Based on the proton NMR spectroscopy, right? Okay, proton or NMR spectroscopy, right? Here we are using F19 NMR spectroscopy to determine the structures of the fluorine compounds, right? Okay. So for this I have ended this class, right? I have to end this class. This is about the F19 NMR spectroscopy. So tomorrow I will discuss about the what is the P31 spectroscopy, right? Okay. Okay. So this is about, these are the major applications. So everyone follows. So this is very important for CSIR and all, right? Because they have asked so many questions from these examples, right? Okay. So many times. So please concentrate on this, right? Okay.
Okay, if you have any doubts, ask me. Okay, thanks for watching. Okay.